So today we're going to talk about two new developments in IT-CMF. One is the new IT-CMF DevOps content and assessment, and the second is the updated solutions delivery critical capability. This presentation will go through why we've updated the IT-CMF in these two areas, DevOps and solutions delivery, the process we went through to optimize IT-CMF for Agile and DevOps, and then we'll look at the new content. So first, the new IT-CMF DevOps solution, and then we'll go through the revised solution delivery capability. So why are we talking about DevOps and solutions delivery together? Well, because to enable DevOps transformation requires both a holistic view of an organization's DevOps capability and a transformation of an organization's solutions delivery pipeline. So what was the impetus for these two developments? Well, first, we were responding to a call from our community. There was a lot of feedback from members that IT-CMF needed to be brought up to date and to respond to these new digital challenges, particularly Agile and DevOps. And second, and related, there is a clear business imperative to integrating development and operations and enabling continuous releases, as we can see here in a quote from the State of DevOps report, which is an industry standard report. So how did we respond to this challenge? Well, first we did a lot of reading, both practitioner and academic publications. And then we held a number of workshops and a series of interviews with IVI members to understand their specific DevOps experiences and challenges. And then we synthesized that data to develop a foundation from which we could develop both the IT-CMF and academic and practitioner publications. So with that work done, we set up a Devops Workgroup, which was made up of IVI researchers and members of the IVI community. And you can see a list of our members of the workgroup here. And we also have some photos of the sessions that we had, the workshops throughout the work that we were doing. And we didn't just work on updating IT-CMF to reflect these new practices and approaches. We were also drinking our own champagne, as it were. So we made sure that the user-centered and agile principles, that these underscored our approach to development on the workgroup. So this is one of the early outputs of that work. So first we defined it and bounded the scope of DevOps, starting with using a card sorting technique to identify core themes. And then we sorted these into three higher level categories, and you can see those across the top. So we've got continuous delivery, service orientation, and collaboration and innovation. And we then identified an initial list of key IT-CMF critical capabilities that are associated with these themes. And we decided that the most effective way to respond was to develop two different offerings, one at the level of the effectiveness or executive assessment, which would capture a broad and high-level view of DevOps across the organization, and also by optimizing key IT-CMF critical capabilities to reflect and support DevOps activities at the practice and management level. So the decision was made by the work group to focus on the development of an IT-CMF DevOps assessment and simultaneously update what we considered to be the anchor capability, so solutions delivery. And a number of other core CCs were updated in parallel by other IVI researcher groups. So the work group went through a number of iterations of this, and now I'll present the finished solutions. So first I'll present the DevOps content and assessment, and then we'll have a look at the new optimized solutions delivery offering. So first, IT-CMF DevOps. So in response to input from the community, DevOps is on feedback on the IT-CMF, DevOps is designed around principles rather than phases. So DevOps in IT-CMF refers to a set of technical, architectural, and cultural practices aimed at increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of delivering business needs into production through improved communication and collaboration between business, development, and IT operations. And then we established 9 core principles for the IT-CMF DevOps, and I'll just go through them. So first of all, the designs should be flexible, there should be flexible, independent services. They should be delivered in short cycles of design, build, test, and deploy. There should be use of automation, integrated tooling, and configuration management. There's a commitment to quality, security, and compliance. There's a balance of speed and stability. And throughout the process, it should maintain an end-to-end view of service offerings, making sure that focus is continually on the user need and on business value. There's a commitment to collaboration and shared ownership, and working to agile and lean practices. And finally then, learning, continuous improvement, and innovation practices should be embedded throughout the process. And then across that we have five maturity levels, and this is a very high level view of that. And at level 1, there might be little or no awareness or support for DevOps in the organization. But by level 3, you start to see widespread buy-in for DevOps. And at the higher levels, again, DevOps becomes a strategic organizational priority. And also we see the DevOps capabilities coming in. By level 3, there should be continuous integration and deployment, a focus on automation, collaboration, and learning through experimentation. By level 5, we're looking at continuous innovation and experimentation, automated deployment, complete test environment transparency, and self-managing teams. So this is the visualization of IT-CMF DevOps, and just another way to help you understand it. So the larger cycle represents a continuous and iterative approach, and central to it are the service users, the customers, and they are enabled through the DevOps team. The smaller cycles represent core activities that feed into DevOps. So at the top here, we can see the focus is on ensuring value, meeting needs, and creating a positive user experience. On the right-hand side, we've represented the fact that it relies on a strong technology and security foundation. The next two cycles show both the development, so design, build, and test, and operations, deploy, release, support, both of those aspects, which interplay throughout the cycle in a continuous delivery pipeline. And then finally, the outermost labels depict some of the fundamentals underlying DevOps. So it depends on a culture of collaboration and ownership. It needs to operate within an environment of continuous feedback and learning. Key technical practices are the orchestration and automation of a pipeline that enables continuous integration and deployment. And finally then, instrumentation and monitoring of metrics and KPIs from the pipeline and service usage are key to ongoing learning and improvement. And we can then see some of the core related IT-CMF critical capabilities that were identified. So solutions delivery, as we said, is the anchor CC. It's essential to DevOps. If you don't fix SD, or if you don't fix solutions delivery, you don't get DevOps. And next we have 3 supporting CCs. So service provisioning, technical infrastructure management, and enterprise architecture management. And finally then we have the highly interdependent CCs. So leadership and governance, strategic planning, benefits assessment and realization, project management, and information security management. So on this slide, we can see how that plays out in the IT-CMF DevOps Effectiveness Assessment. This assessment measures DevOps effectiveness at a high level across all of the relevant CCs, but it has a dual purpose. As well as measuring a high-level organizational DevOps maturity, it also serves a didactic purpose. It is designed to be understood by the executive level who may or may not have much experience or understanding of DevOps, and therefore it can be used as a tool to evangelize or educate on DevOps internally. And again, that came through as a need from talking to practitioners working at the coalface. So this is what the assessment questions look like. In the left-hand column, we can see the IT-CMF critical capabilities. And for each of these, we have 2 high-level questions related to the DevOps maturity. And for each question, there are detailed maturity statements describing the practices within the organization at each of the 5 maturity levels. So for example, for that first question, it's in the strategic planning capability. And the question is, how would you describe the organization's DevOps strategy? At a lower maturity, there might be no strategy or no coherent strategy, whereas at the higher levels, that would be summarized in detail. So when answering the questions, the participant selects the maturity statement that most closely matches their experience within their organization. So on the following slide, we see the rest of the questions. So that is the DevOps maturity assessment. A sample output then looks like this. So although the DevOps assessment is tightly coupled to the anchor capability, solutions delivery, the output of an assessment will also point to other capabilities that might be in need of focus. So for this organization, it has a highlighted strategic planning and benefits assessment and realization. So the DevOps effectiveness assessment is the first part of the process, and ideally this is then followed by a deep dive assessment with solutions delivery as the core anchor CC and possibly other CCs that may have been identified in the assessment. So now we'll take a look at the solutions delivery critical capability. So the solutions delivery capability is the ability to design, develop, validate, and deploy IT solutions that effectively address the organization's business requirements and opportunities. So solutions delivery is a core differentiator in the digital transformation, with the ability both to transform internal processes and the external market presence. So this new version of solutions delivery has been optimized to support new approaches such as DevOps and Agile, and in particular increased time to market, continuous integration and deployment, while in the spirit of IT-CMF agnosticism, it maintains relevance for more legacy or heritage approaches. So now we're going to look at the structure of the revised solutions delivery critical capabilities. So we have 4 categories: solutions management, solution, quality, and pipeline. And for each category, we have a number of building blocks represented here by the bullet points. And for each building block, we have detailed maturity statements, and they're represented in the solutions delivery assessment and also in a suite of detailed practices, outcomes, and metrics, which I'll show you in a moment. But first, to point out some key changes to the original solutions delivery capability. So first, we've moved away from categorization built around sequential steps to key integrated ST capabilities with focus on more steps and faster processes happening concurrently. We've introduced a new category, so solutions management, which wraps around the CC and attends to the more holistic cultural and structural issues, such as effective product ownership and prioritization, as well as being able to put together smaller cross-functional teams. There is greater emphasis on quality and testing, which involves a shift-left strategy when it comes to testing early and testing often. There's an expanded deployment category, which we've called pipeline, and this category supports practices for continuous integration, such as automated tests, validation, checking for compliance, and building deployment packages. At higher maturity levels, there is a focus on continuous deployment, testing with real users, which introduces an element of risk and a culture of experimentation. So other changes worth noting are that within the solutions category, there is a move from managing requirements to understanding needs. This allows for techniques such as user stories to act as reference points throughout an iterative, responsive, and collaborative delivery, rather than necessitating detailed upfront requirement specifications. And this allows for getting the solutions out there and testing on the market. And at the higher maturity levels, the solution is complete on adoption rather than on meeting specifications. Other CBBs there are solutions design, build and integrate solutions, and Q&A and test. And they continue to focus on understanding and satisfying needs, coupled with a focus on increasing reliability, quality, and efficiency, guided by principles such as maintainability, testability, compliance, and reuse to drive efficiency. Finally, then, there's also a move towards plasticity of design, so flexible designs and a modular architecture, and maintaining transparency throughout the process. So the full toolkit for solutions delivery, as with other critical capabilities, is the assessment survey, which for solutions delivery has 26 questions, a master deck which details the full scope of the capability, a position paper which details the literature supporting it, and 124 practices, outcomes and metrics, or POMs, to help to define and support an improvement plan. So on this slide, we can see part of one of those 124 POMs from the Understanding Needs building block. By level 3, you should be eliciting needs from a broad spectrum of users. By level 4, the process is integrated with a formalized stakeholder management process. And by level 5, there is an additional emphasis on proactive and collaborative understanding of needs, leading to an advanced capability to identify innovative features from user and stakeholder engagements. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Great, Louise. That was very interesting. Thank you. So if you'd like more information about IVI, our frameworks, our assessments, you can look on our website, ivi.ie. If you'd like to reach out and email a human, community managers are delighted to engage with you. And also, if you want to talk about partnering opportunities, please email Paul Goddard. His email is right there. Our LinkedIn community is a welcoming place. Just search for IVI Global Community on LinkedIn and you'll find us, and please join. And you can follow us on Twitter at IVI Insights. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening.